Hello, hello. Thanks so much for joining us today. We have a great March Madness webinar series planned for you. Today is the first in our four-part series, and this is our Business Process Automation with M365 webinar. We have a lot of great things planned to show you today. But before we kick things off, just a couple of housekeeping items I'd like to go over with you. First of all, we're going to be keeping this high level. There's a ton that we can dive into about this, and always happy to have a one-on-one with you afterwards to get more specific. But we'll be keeping this high level. And if you do have any questions as we're going through, don't be shy. Use that question box on the side there. We're here for you, happy to answer questions. And lastly, this will be recorded. So if you would like to reference back to it, we'll be posting this to our YouTube channel as well as our website, and it'll be here as a resource for you. So with that being said, I'd like to go ahead and introduce Scott Restivo. He is our CEO, and we are, of course, Crow Canyon. We've been around in business for over 25 years now. We're GSA certified. We're a Microsoft preferred business application. We're a California certified small business. We've got all the certifications you want to see. But ultimately, this really isn't about us today. I know we really want to get to the heart of the matter. So without any further ado, I'd like to go ahead and introduce Scott.
Oh, thank you, Krista, for the introduction. And like you're saying, we're going to keep this kind of high level. There's a lot of areas we can dive into, and hopefully it will stimulate some conversations involving our applications, our NITRO Studio, and the AI work we're doing. So let's jump right in, and we'll try and keep it to reasonable amount of time, 30, 40 minutes if we can. So what we've been doing here at Crow Canyon for like Chris said, over 25 years, going back to the Microsoft Outlook public folders days, the early days of SharePoint, then when the cloud and Office 365, and we've been through various iterations of technologies, and we've always been doing this business process automation. We started out with Outlook Help Desk. We have a help desk that was running in the Outlook folders, and that's carried on to now we have a one running in Microsoft 365 help desk. We have a number of applications. And the whole goal is business process automation. And now we're working with 365 Teams and SharePoint. And the difference now, the latest, you hear it all the time, AI is intelligent business process automation. So we have this concept of IBPA, the term we came up with, to emphasize that it's business process automation with this new twist of AI. And we hear about it all the time. I think even I saw in Krista in the last 20 minutes in my email, I think I got 3 emails about AI for marketing, AI for this, AI for that. So it's all over the place. You see it all the time. But it has to be used reasonably, AI, and we are bringing in, you'll see in this webinar, as we go through, we'll see where we are using AI in business process automation to turn it into BPA into IBPA. Now, just to give you a little background on us, all our products run inside of Microsoft Commercial, Microsoft 365 Commercial Cloud, the GCC and the GCC High. We still work with on-premises. In fact, we don't really install in 2013 anymore because it's past the extended support. 2016 isn't so much, but we do have people using 2019 and SE because some people need to stay on premises for security and other reasons. But a lot of our work is in Microsoft 365 Commercial. Like I said, we work in the GCC, the government cloud, and we work with defense contractors and military and other such entities with the GCC High. We have a set of business applications. We have our NITRO Studio Forms and Workflow tool, a platform for building applications. A number of people really have adopted that. We call them NITRO Knots, and they are really enthusiastic about using it to build solutions. We also have the chatbots and apps for Teams, which I'll go into somewhat today. So the whole idea is that BPA plus AI equals IBPA. And it's interesting because AI is such a broad field. We're not going to talk in detail about all the different manifestations of AI. What we're talking about here is how to use what Microsoft's coming out with Azure OpenAI, with the Copilots, with the Azure Cognitive Services, and infusing BPA with that so you come out with a better way to provide business process automation to companies. And business process automation, of course, is very important, has been for many years, about automating processes that are, we talk about it in general, and I tell Krista, nobody buys business process automation per se. They buy a solution for purchasing, a solution for help desk, a solution for managed complaints, a solution for quality control. But anyway, if you look at the higher point of view, the goal is to provide a better experience for customers, reduce errors, improve compliance, reduce costs. So this is a goal. I don't think I have to emphasize this much at all, because that's what business process automation is all about. And it's really a matter, how do you make it real in your world? How do you make it in your system, whatever system you're dealing with? Mostly it's about replacing outdated solutions. Everybody, some people, everybody pretty much has some process in place already. They might be using emails, spreadsheets, paper forms. InfoPath forms were big. I think people are pretty much moved away from those. Access forms, legacy systems that require a lot of overhead and aren't client server, they're not cloud-based or whatever. Enterprise software that they bought, and then they realized they don't need to pay those high cost of recurring revenues for that, such as people tell us ServiceNow, for example, has gone up 4 times in price, and people looking to economize are looking at our NITRO Help Desk and our NITRO Service Desk as replacements that are like, half or so of the cost of ServiceNow and most of the same functionality. So there's a lot of opportunity if you have outdated solutions to move ahead, gain efficiencies, speed, accuracy with that. So here it's pretty obvious: speed, efficiency, transparency, profitability, confidence, all the things that are goodness of having BPA. Now that sounds good at a high level, but I'll give you an example. We worked with an insurance company that was getting all their quote requests through email, web form, and they would create an email, send it to an email box. And this isn't uncommon. A lot of people use email as a kind of place to record requests or manage requests. Even if it's a dedicated mailbox, it doesn't quite meet what's the requirements of business process automation. For instance, an insurance company, they found they were missing responding to certain quote requests. That's their business. They get a quote request from a customer. They went through all the work of getting the customer to the website, fill out the form, and then it drops off the map because someone in their dedicated email box, either it went what they call below the horizon, lost, where you don't see it anymore in your immediate screen and inbox, or they thought someone else was handling it, or they thought they responded. Well, now we changed the system so every web form that's filled out goes into a request management system in M365 using our NITRO Studio and our applications. Everything is recorded. So every quote request has to be managed and fulfilled. And if it isn't, there's notifications that go out. People can assign themselves to it or assign other people to it. They can record what was done, what emails were sent out, and it's a much more efficient system. And that's a very basic example of how moving off email or other systems is quite effective in gaining efficiencies, and also it was cost savings. They were losing money because they weren't responding to quotes that could result in sales of new insurance to the people. The same idea with complaints. The same idea if people have complaints or comments from the outside and they're being lost in the shuffle in the email, or people use spreadsheets to manage assets and equipment, or sometimes projects, and they find that that is insufficient too, because there's no way to assign subtasks, and there's no way to really track it or have like each row in the spreadsheet might indicate a particular asset or a particular project item, and it just lacks a lot of coordination to get it to be all synthesized into one system that you have when you use our business process automation tools. So what we have is omni-channel support, any kind of way you want, any way you want. Your customers, your employees, whatever, can submit a request or submit an issue into our system. Now, it doesn't go into an email mailbox. It goes into a organized list inside of SharePoint with all the workflows and forms and everything necessary to take in all the information and all the notifications and everything that goes out to the people who are responsible for fulfilling that, and management can see how many came in. And there's a lot of other parameters and details you can get, like how long it took to respond. Is there an SLA about a response time? Is there, how was this handled? What's the speed of response? All those things can be recorded, and whether you're doing a help desk, customer support, or access request system, You do an access request system where people are asking for access to certain facilities or databases, and then you've got a record of who asked for it, who approved it, when it was granted. Is it a temporal thing, meaning that it has like a month or 2 month life cycle, and after that it has to be refreshed or closed out, or if the person leaves the company, you know what kind of accesses were granted and when. So anyway, the point is it can come in from email, people can text, it can be a web form, there can be portals, form, EngageBot, of course, anything also for mobile, mobile, Teams, which but EngageBot is kind of our tool for Teams. So you say Microsoft Teams, and all these ways they're getting requests created, but also communicated back and forth, so that from this centralized request management or ticketing system, there is a coordinated effort to keep everything organized, accountable. In fact, I think that's the next slide, isn't it? Oh, they go into approval, assignment, fulfillment, and then in Microsoft, you have the single sign-on, the Teams integration, and then here's what I'm talking about: organization and accountability. Every request is managed, the requests are assigned, there's approval processes based on, maybe a person's asking for a new laptop or asking for a time off or something like that. Reminders and notifications, and no request goes unanswered. So the point is to get off of those email spreadsheets and use business process automation tools such as we have. Now that's pretty basic. That's not bringing in the AI elements, which I'm going to get to in a moment, because we've been touting this story for quite some time. I think it goes back many years, ever since the beginning, that being more efficient with the tools that are available in the such as in SharePoint or in Microsoft 365, whatever, and Teams are very good ways to organize your systems, your requests, your tickets, your assets, whatever you need to organization, and then have a much more efficient and effective system, cost effective. And that's all true, but the AI stuff adds a whole nother element to it. And so what we are going with more is this NITRO intelligence platform concept, which is that the IBPA model, which is that there's NITRO Studio with intelligent forms and workflows, which is a way to build your own applications. People, like I say, they jump on board with it, get some training, and all of a sudden they're building solutions for their organization. It's quite creative, and people find it a very useful tool. There's our AI services where we're leveraging Azure OpenAI, cognitive services, GPT, NLP. Talk about that more in this webinar. We have our EngageBot for Teams, Teams apps where people can be in Teams and get a lot of this work done. They can submit a request, they can get an approval through that. The manager can get a notice in Teams that he or she needs to approve a request. The requester gets the response back and it's fulfilled, or if it's a purchase, it may go from once it's approved out to the procurement department and things like that. And that all can be done in Teams, in SharePoint. And we also have business applications that are already pre-built, ready to go. So we're really tied into, this is our NITRO Studio symbol in the middle, we're tied with Office 365 and Teams. We have customers all over the world using this. It's a very real thing where they're saving money, they're gaining efficiencies, they're finding, places, reducing the workload, reducing the like churn or the lost cases and confusion that comes when you're trying to use outdated systems that to manage this important activity. So like I said, we have a number of applications ready to go. They need to be probably sometimes customized to fit into your particular process. Usually IT help desk is pretty straightforward. Asset management, customer service, facilities requests such as work orders, tracking equipment. It could be vehicles, it could be machinery, it could be other equipment. Security access requests where somebody comes on and they need access to a database or facility, and you are going to track that, who approved it, when it was approved, how long it's going to last for. We have our general request manager, which handles just many different kinds of requests of all types and can be customized to fit your particular requirements. And onboarding, self-service portals, contract renewals is quite interesting, because the time comes when a contract needs to be renewed. And there's statistics that are around that when we talk about the contract management application specifically, where there is a lot of contracts renewed that nobody knows why renewed it or how come it's being spent. So it goes through a process. And the same with document management, with policies and procedures and approvals and updating and all that. HR requests, big. We're doing a lot with HR help desk these days. We have the IT help desk, that's been our baby for years. It's service desk, but also HR help desk is becoming quite prominent, and we're doing some interesting things with HR help desk now and HR Copilot, which we're talking about, where the Copilot will go out and read, in a sense, or consolidate all these different FAQs, docs, PDFs that are part of the HR department, and the user puts a prompt in, and then it get an answer on like what's the vacation policy or what's this, what's that. I mean, some of these HR documents, like our handbook, I think is like 50 pages long or something. And there's many other policies, documents, procedures, and everything. So having ChatGPT Copilot tool, our HR Copilot that ties into our HR help desk, it gives users ability to get quick, synthesized, concise answers to their questions without having to put a ticket into HR for that. Purchase and request, same idea. We got a lot going on there. So we got a lot of really interesting things going on. We also have our NITRO Studio with our form designer, workflow designer, custom actions. That's what underpins our whole application and intelligent platform. We have, dynamic forms, responsive design, form templates. We have been building these applications for so many years, and we have tens of thousands of customers, and we get feedback, and we get, it's a cooperative thing that we make the programs fit what the needs are of the organizations we work with. We go into more detail about NITRO Studio if you're interested. We have the workflow manager, the custom actions. We have all these processes we can automate. So see, this is where email and spreadsheets and everything fall by the wayside. With these automated processes running with our NITRO workflows and custom actions, we can institute approvals at serial approval, parallel approval, multi-level approvals, complex approvals based on what the person's purchasing or what access they need, or other type criteria that determine how the approval process should work. We have escalations that will move a ticket or request from just sitting there stagnant to updating it to high priority, or moving it to another management team, or moving it like notifying the manager that there's something that's just been sitting there too long. It's all kinds of interesting things you can do with that to make sure that the request and process is moved along with this kind of level of automation. And we go into auto assignment, task management, notifications, alerts, many things we can do here with our workflows and custom actions to drive process forward. We have the workflow designer where you design, and we can do this for you, or you work with us to do it, to design the workflows that are unique and specific to your requirement. And NITRO Studio includes a lot more: reports, AI services, email sync, email manager, and on and on and on. And now I think later in this series in March, we're going to do more detailed dive into NITRO Studio. We also have a lot of already content up there on YouTube, or we can do a one-on-one demo if you're interested in finding out more about it. Again, it runs on Microsoft 365, commercial, GCC, GCC High, and also in the SharePoint. Well, will run in 2013, but not. We don't really recommend going with that. But 2016, 2019 SE. So, and there really isn't any really good form and workflow tool for the on-premises SharePoint compared to what we have for NITRO Studio. When you get into M365, yeah, there's a number of tools up there, there's Power Platform and others like that. But our NITRO Studio is comprehensive, easy to use, and people who use Power Platform, and of course some like it and go with it, but we get a lot of people who try Power Platform, then move over to our NITRO Studio because they find it more comprehensive and easier to use. So, like I say, we also integrate with Teams. We have a Teams app, we have the Engage bot. We have integrations with all these different things like Salesforce, Dropbox, Oracle, NetSuite, QuickBooks, all these things. So that's a really important thing. I shouldn't skip over the slide too quickly, because a lot of what's going on is people are using M365 as the face for users or employees to engage with back-end systems. We actually have saved companies a lot of money, because instead of getting all the licenses, say for a program like NetSuite, Oracle's NetSuite financial program, they only need a couple licenses for the procurement people, maybe sometimes even one, and all the employees are using M365, our purchasing program, to make the request and get the request approved and go through. And then finally, when it's done, it's sent over to procurement. So they don't, not everybody has to, only the procurement people have to deal with the actual NetSuite backend, and it saves enormously on the license. And we've saved people, companies, lots and lots of more than, the ROI is quite high in terms of paying, we pay for our program. Well, we're already in M365, you already have the sign on, and they don't have to pay the NetSuite license just to get purchasing done. It's quite interesting stuff. So there's all kinds of ways we can help you out. And, it's a matter of having conversations with us and finding out how we can help your organization or company use these kind of tools. Like I say, we're in BPA plus AI, back to this thing, IBPA. And I was going to go into discussing in more detail what we're doing here with AI. Because like I said, the BPA is BPA, the forms, workflows, and all that. We've been doing this, harping on this for so many years, that it should be, obviously get off email, get off spreadsheets, go to some kind of request management system that has organization and accountability, and like what I was just saying. But the AI stuff is what's cool, and everybody likes what's neat and cool and latest and greatest stuff. And we're finding the company, Crow Canyon, is moving more and more into almost like AI co-pilot consulting services, because people are asking for these things and looking for solutions. And like all of us, it's all new and don't quite know where to go. So let me show you what we're doing. What we're doing with this, okay? NITRO AI services. Okay, we use ChatGPT generative AI for user self-help, staff augmentation, meaning helping the staff do their job better, not adding more people, but just helping them do it better, and natural language prompting for reports. It's all the buzz these days. We're using them to incorporate it in as much as possible. But more interesting, this seems to be the latest. A lot of people are very interested in this, the co-pilots for productivity. And you can't go anywhere on the Microsoft sites or, and you can't run Copilot all over the place. We have a Copilot for KB knowledge base for help desk, and we have an HR Copilot I was talking about earlier for our HR help desk. And what those do, they synthesize disparate and heterogeneous data sources to give synthesized answers to people who prompt. It sounds fancy, but basically what it is we're taking your data that already exists in your organization, might be spread out all over the place or not. It could be in OneDrive, it could be in Amazon Web Services, it could be FAQs on the web, it could be docs, it could be manuals, basically tickets that exist, PDFs, anywhere that's, of course, electronically accessible. And the GPT tools that we have, the Copilot, will look at all that, consider it like what they call a data lake or one source of data, and then it will run the GPT magic, I guess you could say, against it and give out synthesized answers, consolidated, concise answers, rather than just return search results where the person has to open up every little article and read it. It can give back results that are quite pertinent to the issue and question being asked. And that works for KB Help Desk and KB for Help Desk and HR Copilot. These are quite interesting ways people are finding. And what happens to say, let's take KB Copilot and HR Copilot do the same thing. They reduce the load on the staff. You don't have to answer as many IT help desk tickets if they're getting the answers right there. I was trying something earlier, and it's always a risk in a demo, but let's see. This is a KB Copilot we have running inside of Teams. And I'm trying to remember what I wrote, but printer is not working. Is that what I don't know. Let's see what comes out of this. You ready to see? This is always the demo gods. You never know what's going to happen here. So let's give it a chance. What we're doing here, just so you know, I'm prompting a backend KB Copilot we put together to read data sources, that this kind of test FAQs and test documents and everything. But we can do this for any company and, consolidate your tickets. You might have thousands of tickets or FAQs or docs, manuals, whatever. And not just for help desk, could be anything. Let's see what it says. Let's see what's going on here with this. I was trying it earlier. See, There are many reasons why a printer is not working for anything else. Important to check blah, 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 blah. Printer, okay. And we even get a KB article that we have in our system in case you want to look at that directly. You can. Let's say toner is low, Let's see what it says about that. Come on. It's thinking. And printer is low. Printer is running low and printer quality deteriorating. First order replacement toner cartridge. Okay. And then let's say replace toner on Dell 1165, no, B1165, B, that's the printer I have, 1165 NFW, I think it is. How to, let's just say how to. And now what it's doing is kind of a hybrid. It's going out to the web because this data wouldn't necessarily be in your system. It's going out to the web. So we have this ability to read internal documents, keep them separate from the web, and at the same time, go out to the, when necessary, go out to the, with the proper guardrails, go out to the World Wide Web and find out. See, here you are. Here are the step-by-step instructions to replace the toner on a B1165 NFW printer. Turn off the printer, unplug it, blah, blah, blah. And these are actually right. I just did replace the toner cartridge on my printer, and those are the steps I followed. And we can even do stuff that's even cooler, which is if you need to order that cartridge, then you go into the purchase system and order it, right? And then it gets quite interesting how AI and BPA, IBPA comes together to give a more robust and comprehensive solution to the user's problem. And staff is still involved, of course, and this purchase of a toner has to be approved. And not every answer that comes back from AI is 100% accurate. Of course, it's hallucinations, and it depends on your data. But what we're doing with companies, and we'd be interested in work with any of yours, is work on how to get the data to be accurate and responsive so that you're getting good results from this. And that takes some data engineering, but it is very, very well worth it in the long run to do that, because you end up with much more streamlined operations, much more organized and efficient way of doing things. So that's one of the things we do is this KB Copilot. I'll go back to the screen that was talking about our AI services. So same idea with the HR Copilot is you ask like, what's the policy for a change in benefits if I move to Illinois or something like that? I don't know, whatever it is, and it comes back with the answers, and maybe even gives you more than just an answer, but an ability to proceed, like fill out this form. Here's the answer, here's the form, click here to fill out the form. We're even working on even really cool stuff, which says the prompt would just say, I need to take a vacation next week. And it'll be okay. And it comes up and says, you need to fill out this form, but even just not, here's a form to fill out, it'd say, where do you want to go? What days do you want to take off? And it starts to fill out the form for you through the prompts. Now, we also have the NITRO Engage bot, which is this kind of call and response thing inside of Teams that will allow engagement. If you submit a ticket through Teams, you can get a response through Teams, you can do approval through Teams using this Engage bot. You can also search the KB. There's various different kinds of bots, like say FAQ bots, staff support bots, Teams bots, IT support bots, and this helps move the business process automation along also. We do something called email sentiment. By the way, I'll show you this bot in a moment, but I want to go through this list. Email sentiment analysis, which is where incoming emails, it's like say from a customer or something, have an indication of anger or frustration. By reading it using natural language processing, which they call NLP, we are able to detect a certain score. It goes through Azure Cognitive Services, and Azure Cognitive Services gives us a certain code that says, this sounds like it's the person's angry. There's certain like sentiment analysis going on there through the language analysis that Azure Cognitive Service has. And then if it is an angry or frustrated email, it sounds that way, it can be escalated immediately to the manager or whomever you want to escalate it to. That's pretty cool. So it kind of like analyzes your incoming emails, and then says, oh, that needs to be escalated. And we have NLP-based, natural language process-based KB searches also going on. So we're starting to incorporate the Azure AI services, Azure Cognitive services, Azure OpenAI services to provide the best solutions we can that fit your organization and capabilities. Now we're very conscious, very aware of limitations of AI, certain biases that could be introduced, the need to keep data siloed from the big wide web. And so we work a lot with data security, data governance, data optimization, and things like that to make sure the data is staying where it does and provides the value that you need to be useful in your organization. Because part of it is that all this information's out there, but if it's not available or useful or searchable, or it takes too long to plow through, then it's not really a value that it can be if it's put into this AI GPT kind of model, where that the GPT, in a sense, you could say, is reading all that data and consolidating and synthesizing it and giving answers that make sense. That's the value here. So one part of our AI services is data optimization, where we come in and help. Oh, wait a minute. How'd that show up down here too? Oh, okay. Yeah, I kind of messed up on the scrolling, but data optimization, where we help you um, get your data together. You might optimize it for use in the GPT world that we're in. For AI, that could be that trimming it. It could be optimized. They say you've got 1,000 tickets. Well, you can run stuff that analyzes how much of these are repetitive, so you get scores like, it sounds like you've had 30% of your tickets were about XYZ, or 10% or 12. You get these kind of scores out of it, and then from there you can either build knowledge base articles or FAQs, or you can distill data distillation, so there isn't a lot of garbage and noise, but really you have the essence of the problem in the data, and then that makes it that much more effective to use GPT type tools against it for the users get more accurate answers. I hope that makes sense. It's a little high level. It's not data scientist talk, but that's the kind of stuff we do with this. So as we evolve from a BPA company that's been doing BPA for over 20 years and all these various variations, and really encouraging people to move off of old, outdated legacy systems to modern solutions, starting way back, when the web first came out, and then mobile phones and cloud, SharePoint, M365, and now bringing the AI services into it. And we're all kind of it's all new to all of us. We're all learning, but we do have a number of beta projects going already with AI, building the different co-pilots for people and working with their data and getting a lot of feedback, a lot of information back to us about what works, what doesn't, how to do this effectively. Of course, we work very closely with Microsoft too, and as we evolve this, being partners with them. So it's quite interesting, and we can bring this to your organization. We can work with you and discuss it. Now, that is, the BPA side of things. I mean, the IBPA. But the point here is that, okay, maybe that's too far a stretch. We're not ready to go there yet. Some governments are a little cautious to go in that direction. We work with the state of California, and you think that would be very progressive with AI, but there's cautions about bias, there's caution about data leaks, there's caution about this. So we're very cognizant of all those possibilities, yet at the same time, we see the potential for this is massive and huge, and look, it's going to happen no matter what. And eventually it's going to be like so incorporated into everyday life of a business process automation tool that it won't even be an issue any longer. And we're really glad to be on kind of the cutting edge of this and bring in these kind of tools to you that and making it available through, of course, through Microsoft's in Microsoft's world. We're very much incorporated, but somebody has to bring it to the ground level where it's actually put into operations in your organization in a way that makes sense, that enhances, streamlines, automates your processes, and that's what we're doing. That's what our world is all about here at Crow Canyon. We have a number of people using our stuff. Here's Spokane Regional Health District, and they wanted to see, they added Nitro Help Desk, IT Help Desk, project, project management, because they wanted to use our business applications. Now, once they have this in place, they may use AI, they may not. They may want to put a co-pilot in, they may not. It really depends on the organization. So we do stuff that is like help the organization run more smoothly with our, I hate to call it traditional BPA, but maybe in a sense it is, and very effective tools with our NITRO Studio, our NITRO applications, using the M365 and Teams environments, and a number of other ones. Odom Corporation, which is a beverage distribution one, using our workflows, modern forms, reports, portals, and a number of other organizations all over. But I did mention that I was going to go into the bot, so I don't want to leave that hanging. So let me see if I can find that place where that is. So what we're looking at right now, again, is the KB Copilot running inside of Teams. Inside of Teams, you also can get a chat going. So this is the Engage bot running inside. So if I want to create a purchase request, I just go here and go through this purchase, put in what I'm buying, new laptop, and type of, of course, these are all configurable as to what you want to put in your drop list and your priorities and all this. And you could choose it from a catalog if you want. Reason for purchase, old one is not working, I don't know. In quantity, you just want to buy one of them. And then based on, see, so you're doing you can submit requests, of course, through the traditional Outlook and web forms and portals, but you also can use this Engage bot to submit. And I hope this is, I haven't tested this today, but it should be working to produce a purchase request submitted successfully. And then if I was looking at open purchase request here, it should be listed as the one I just did, new laptop I just did right now, and it's pending approval. Now, the person who approves it will get a notice based on how much the cost is of the laptop. It depends on who gets the approval. You set that up in our application, and that person will get a notice, do you approve of this or not? If they approve, I'll get a notice back. So if I sit in here in the real world, I'd say, okay, I just put my request in and maybe wait, I don't know, a day, an hour, a day, depends on how busy the manager is. And I'd get a response back in my Teams that it's been approved. And once it's approved, it would then, the workflows with our integrations would go over to the procurement department and make the actual purchase. So that's one example. Now looking at the back end, this is, for example, an access request system. Or over here, I think this is the purchase request system over here. And, different systems that are in there. Where's that access request? And it's based on certain forms that we have inside of SharePoint, inside access request system here. They want access to this, that, and the other thing. And you can do it through the bot. You can send an email. You can do it through a form. All this is recorded. It's put into a record of who gained access to what, who has access when. The same with the help desk tickets, the same with the purchasing, who approved this purchase as a leave request. Leave requests can write to a calendar. I mean, it makes your system so much more organized. And then the final part of this is, well, that's over here is just, here's our NITRO Studio. And in our NITRO Studio, there's Form Designer, Workflow Designer, and all this that is building what you're seeing here on this form. If you go to NITRO Form and you go to the Access Request form, you're going to see the Form Designer. So this is what we do. This is our business, is building solutions for people, either right out of the box, ready to go, pretty close to what people need with a little tweaking here and there, or we do custom solutions for people who have particular needs in particular industries and they want to get off an enterprise system or expensive or maybe paper-based system, whatever, and we build it for them to make it successful. Okay, this is the Form Designer. You go in and you start modifying the form any way you want. So rather than go into this, because this would be a whole nother webinar and people are interested, they can get in touch with us on that and build solutions. So what I want to do then is kind of pack it up. I don't see any questions. We do have a good attendance today, so hopefully this was an effective demonstration of what we can do with NITRO Studio, with NITRO applications, with BPA, either traditional, using the standard tools we have right now, or the AI elements we're bringing in, which I'll just go over again, the chat GPT, generative AI, the co-pilots, the email sentiment analysis, the engage bot, the data optimization. This is what we see as the future. So we're kind of straddling both worlds, where we provide traditional solutions based on SharePoint and M365, while also for the people who are interested or want to incorporate co-pilots and everything into their organization, we're able to build those also. So I want to thank everyone for attending. As Krista said, we'll have a recording of this. We also have 3 more webinars coming up that will be of interest. One will go specifically into the help desk, another specifically into NITRO Studio, another specifically into purchasing, so that you get a good comprehensive view and see if these applications and systems fit your organization. So I'd like to thank everyone for attending, and I hope everyone's having a nice March 14th here, I guess, and then looking forward to the weekend with St. Patrick's Day, March 17th, and wearing of the green and all that. There's some parades here in California they're going to have. There's a town called Dublin, which is, no, it's obviously not Ireland, but has green hills, and they have a whole thing they make out about the St. Patrick's Day. So anyway, I hope everybody enjoys their time and their weekend, and please get in touch with us to get drilled down into more details about your specific needs of your organization. We're glad to help you out and discuss it more. We're really glad to talk about it, find out what people's issues are, what people's questions are, and work together to provide the best solutions we can, given all these technologies that are coming at us and at your organization. Well, thank you very much, and thank you, Krista, for helping. Hope everybody has a good day, and we'll talk again soon, I hope. Okay, bye-bye for now.